I'm Ellis, and my story will shock you. I can't wait to reveal the surprise waiting at the end of this story. Let's start. That morning began like all the rest. As I brewed coffee, sunlight flooded the kitchen, wrapping the space in a warm, cozy embrace. Leo, my husband, entered with an unexpected brightness in his eyes. "Darling, I need to share something important with you." Leo's eyes shone with pure excitement. "My best friend from New York arrives tonight for a few weeks." Excitement fills the air. He just returned to the US after a long trip, and I hoped he could spend some time with us. I placed my coffee cup down, taken aback. "Him? Who is he really?" "Jude." Leo beamed. "He's my dearest friend from intoxicated school. We've created countless unforgettable moments together." I smiled gently and nodded, barely thinking. I've always loved having friends over. I thought it would bring our home to life. That afternoon, I made a warm dinner as Leo headed to the airport to bring Jude home. The moment they entered, I was stunned. Jude stood tall and strong, his curly hair framing bright, captivating eyes. His magnetic energy lit up the room effortlessly. "Hey Ellis, it's Jude." Leo beamed as he introduced him. Jude stepped forward, his smile radiant as he shook my hand. "I finally met the amazing woman Leo always raves about. Being here feels incredible." I smiled back and welcomed him. "Welcome to our home, Jude." Jude shared captivating tales from his intoxicated school days with Leo, filling the evening with laughter. The stories burst with laughter, unveiling a side of my husband I never knew existed. Jude had a unique gift for storytelling. His humor, honesty, and keen attention to detail captivated me completely. His presence breathed life into the room. Leo is truly fortunate to have such an amazing friend. An unexplainable feeling stirred within me, an unspoken energy between Jude and me that I couldn't name. As the evening faded with soft goodnights, I felt the story was only starting. Days went by, and Jude felt like he had always been a part of our home. Jude made every moment unforgettable. His nighttime stories and playful breakfast chats filled the house with joy. Yet, alongside that comfort, an unsettling emotion began to invade my heart. When Jude looked at me, it felt like he saw into my soul. His compliments were quiet yet resonated deeply. "Ellis, your eyes hold a secret. They possess strength and tenderness. Such a unique blend in a woman." I initially dismissed it as mere politeness. Every time he spoke like that, my heart raced, a strange breeze brushing against my soul. Leo announced he was leaving for a 4-day business trip. This was expected due to his work schedule. "Is that all right with you?" "I'll be home soon," Leo whispered, kissing me goodbye. I smiled and nodded, offering him comfort. "No worries, I'll be okay. Jude is here." Leo smiled and walked to the car. Turning back to the house, I spotted Jude in the living room, coffee cup in hand, his eyes locked on mine. "Ellis, your strength is incredible." Jude remarked that not everyone can remain so composed with their husband away so frequently. His casual way of saying my name took me by surprise. I smiled softly and said, "Sometimes you just learn to accept it." Jude stepped closer, his voice deep, calm, and sincere. "Ellis, some things we can choose not to accept." I sensed he had deeper thoughts, yet I stayed silent. We shared a serene moment in the sunlit room. That evening, Jude proposed a cozy dinner with wine and a few light dishes he prepared himself. His cooking skills amazed me, simple, refined, and bursting with flavor. "Thanks for dinner," I said as he placed the final plate on the table. Jude sat opposite me, glass of wine in hand, savoring a small sip. "Ellis, I need to share something important with you." I set my wine glass aside, and my heart raced. Jude's gaze pierced through me, unraveling my deepest feelings. "Leo's invitation wasn't just about friendship," he said, his voice heavy with significance. "What are you saying?" I leaned in, a wave of tension crashing over me. Jude hesitated for a moment, then pressed on. "Leo desires a deeper connection between us, beyond mere acquaintanceship. He said we could connect on a deeper level, something that could transform everything." A lump rose in my throat as I struggled to grasp the weight of Jude's words. "Are you implying? Did Leo really agree to this?" Jude nodded, his eyes locked onto mine. Leo desires this. He believes you are extraordinary, deserving the freedom to discover yourself without limits. Jude, words hit me like a lightning bolt. I was shocked that Leo would agree to this. Yet, Jude's calm and sincere tone left me even more bewildered. Jude, this is it. This surpasses my wildest dreams. I fought to remain calm, but his soothing eyes drew me closer. I get it, Ellis, Jude said gently, but this isn't just a careless thought. This is your chance to rediscover lost parts of yourself. My heart raced, a mix of shock and curiosity. In that moment, I was captivated by Jude, unsure of my feelings. That night, the silence in the room felt heavy and unsettling. It resonated with hidden feelings, stirring something profound within me that I never anticipated. After Jude spoke, silence enveloped the room, and the clocks ticking echoed in my ears. My heart pounded, a warning echoing through me as I faced a perilous crossroads. I took a deep breath, fighting to maintain my composure. Jude, I'm lost. This is overwhelming. So unexpected. Jude approached me, sincerity in his eyes, yet a smoldering fire lurked beneath. He leaned in, his hand resting softly on my shoulder, offering comfort. Ellis, his voice brushed against my ear. I would never push you, but remember, not every fight is about logic. Sometimes we must follow our hearts. His breath whispered against my hair. As I lifted my head, our eyes met, and time stood still. In his eyes, I glimpsed a rare yearning, a tenderness that tightened my chest. My heart raced, each beat a battle of logic and emotion. The longer I gazed into his eyes, the more my defenses crumbled away. Jude, we can't. My voice faded as he leaned closer, his warm breath a gentle caress against my cheek. I understand, he whispered, but if you let it happen. In an instant, Jude's lips met mine, a brief, hesitant kiss charged with unvoiced longing. I froze, the world pausing, his lips igniting a small flame that coursed through my veins. I shut my eyes and surrendered to the emotions, thoughts fading away. His kiss shattered every wall around my heart. The kiss intensified, a surge of long-buried emotions breaking free all at once. His heartbeat pulsed against mine, a quick, shared rhythm. Our breaths intertwined, fiery and intoxicating. Jude held me close, and I surrendered completely. My hands shook as I touched his chest, feeling his warmth dissolve my worries like smoke. The room glowed softly. Our breaths intertwined, each heartbeat a silent confession of longing. I felt lost in another world, where delicate yet fierce emotions defined everything. Jude leaned in close, whispering, "Do you want to stop, Ellis?" I opened my eyes and stared into his deep brown eyes, realizing there was no turning back. I shook my head softly, my voice a whisper. Absolutely not. That single word shattered every last barrier. I gave into my heart and followed its path. Jude's touch was both tender and strong, making me feel delicate yet shielded by an unyielding power. His hand brushed my skin, each touch filled with emotions words couldn't express. My rapid breaths broke the stillness of the room. We had become one. We found each other, two souls intertwined in a moment that will never fade. The delicate line of right and wrong vanished, engulfed by a surge of pure emotion. Time slipped away unnoticed. In the stillness of the night, we lay side by side, finally at peace. The moonlight softly illuminated the room, a whispered secret from the darkness. Jude tenderly tucked my hair behind my ear, his voice a soothing whisper. This moment is more special than I ever imagined. I gazed at him, my heart torn between joy and uncertainty. What I once knew as right and wrong has faded into uncertainty. I whispered, a confession I never planned, yet I couldn't hold back. In Jude's arms, I felt a deep connection beyond mere physical closeness. A bond so profound, it defies description. This night would change everything, etched in my memory forever. I lay there, silent, enveloped in Jude's warmth, like a soft blanket on a frigid night. My heart raced, unwilling to accept the reality of what had just occurred. The room felt eerily silent, just our breaths and his heartbeat echoing in my ear. My senses spun in a storm of emotions, endless and overwhelming. Jude's hand softly glided down my spine, his touch so delicate it seemed he might shatter this precious moment. I shut my eyes, hoping this was just a dream, a moment I could escape, and return to my room, where Leo's warm smile awaited me. I felt it in my core. This was no dream. A deep restlessness surged inside me. I jolted awake, confusion swirling as I gazed at my reflection in the window. The street lamp flickered softly, blurring the line between reality and illusion. Jude leaned in, his gaze filled with worry and warmth. "Ellis, are you all right?" His deep voice was an anchor, pulling me from my turbulent thoughts. I hesitated to respond. What just happened replayed in my mind, each kiss, each touch, each breath we shared lingering painfully. I turned to him, his eyes still sparkled, yet now they felt like a stark reminder of reality. I whispered, more to myself than to him. "What is happening? Am I finished?" Jude got up from the bed and stepped toward me. His hands gripped my shoulders, his gaze unyielding. "Ellis, you are not at fault." His words sparked a flame in the storm, awakening emotions I couldn't express. His hands were warm, but my heart was in turmoil, caught between logic and feeling. However, Leo. I whispered my husband's name, and guilt surged through me like a fierce wave. Jude leaned in, his eyes glowing with power and warmth. "Leo knows it all. He opened this door for us." I shook my head, thoughts swirling wildly. I stood between two worlds, one of comforting days with Leo, the other ignited by the fire Jude sparked within me. Jude squeezed my hand gently, his eyes steady and reassuring. "Fear not. We will stand united." I questioned my strength to face it. In that instant, I knew I had shattered the delicate boundary between reason and emotion, and there was no turning back. As Jude concluded, silence enveloped the room once more. I sat, each heartbeat resonating in my chest. His breath warmed me, yet the truth chilled my soul. "Leo is returning home." I echoed Jude's words, searching for deeper understanding. Jude nodded, his eyes filled with warmth. That softness only deepened my awkwardness and unease. I stood, arms wrapped tight, trying to shield myself from the storm of thoughts closing in. Jude moved in, hand on my shoulder, but I instinctively recoiled. Our eyes met, stripped of their magnetic pull and warm smiles. A heavy silence hung, filled with unasked questions and unspoken tension. I was speechless. I approached the window, parted the curtain, and gazed outside. The morning sun's golden rays illuminated the stone path before the house. Birds chirped outside, signaling a new day, yet I felt no peace. "Are you all right?" Jude whispered gently from behind me. His voice remained warm, but now it felt distant, an echo of something familiar, yet so far away. Our eyes met, and time stood still. His eyes held sincerity, yet in that moment, they echoed the weight of our past struggles and the challenges ahead. Heat flooded my face, a stranger staring back at me. I just need time," I whispered, my voice breaking. Jude nodded slowly, his eyes betraying deep concern. "I get it. I'm always here for you." I glanced at him again, attempting a smile to comfort us both, but it faded before it could take shape. I walked away, words unspoken, heavy in the silence. I stepped into the bathroom, turned on the faucet, and felt the cold water rush over my shaking hands. I gazed at my reflection in the mirror. My eyes glistened with unshed tears, and my lips throbbed from the kisses we had shared the night before. The image hit me hard, pulling me from the disorder of my dream. "What have I done?" I murmured softly to myself. Cold drops hit my cheeks, but they couldn't douse the fire of shame within. As I emerged from the bathroom, Jude lingered by the doorframe, poised and expectant. Silence spoke volumes. His eyes met mine, a storm of unspoken words swirling within. In that brief moment, we realized the silence held all the words we feared to say. Time dragged until I heard it, the car door closing. My heart tightened. Leo was back. Jude glanced back one final time before walking away, allowing me a moment to gather my thoughts. I entered the living room just as Leo stepped through the front door. His smile lit up when he saw me. Ellis. He approached with a smile and enveloped me in a comforting hug. The embrace felt safe, yet my heart raced with unease. I embraced him, masking the tempest of feelings within. I sensed Jude stare from afar without needing to glance his way. The room shrank around us, the unspoken tension thickening the air. Leo let me go and smiled warmly at Jude. Thank you for taking care of our home. This trip deepened my longing for home. Jude approached, his face calm, but his eyes revealed a deeper struggle. He extended his hand to Leo, the very hand that once cradled me with deep tenderness and yearning. I stood there, torn between my trusting husband and a whirlwind of emotions I couldn't escape. Inside me, emotions crashed like waves, guilt, fleeting happiness, and an unnamed fear. My awkward glances and racing heartbeat betrayed the fragile truth I desperately concealed from the world. That night's dinner was eerily peaceful. Leo beamed about his business trip, his eyes shining with happiness to be back home. I smiled and nodded, pretending to listen, but inside, my thoughts were a chaotic storm I couldn't escape. Jude held his calm, as always. He joined in, laughter punctuating the air, yet his eyes remained fixed on me, never straying for long. His gaze was devoid of the previous possessiveness and longing. It served as a haunting reminder that we couldn't escape this truth indefinitely. I stepped onto the porch, inhaling the cool night air. The sky was still, dotted with countless shimmering stars. I inhaled deeply, yet the heaviness in my chest lingered. Soft footsteps echoed behind me. It was Jude. I don't want to burden you, Ellis. His voice resonated with depth and honesty. We both know this can't continue. I glanced at him. His face remained serene, yet his eyes revealed the storm inside. Jude was battling his demons, just as I was. I whispered, "You're right. It's impossible." Jude paused, then finally spoke. "I'm leaving sooner than expected. Perhaps that's the only path to regain your balance." His words pierced my heart like a knife. He was right, and I felt it deep down. Jude's departure revealed my true needs. Why did it hurt so deeply? I fought to remain composed, but tears fell unexpectedly. Jude, I truly appreciate all you've done. I can't bear this guilt any longer. I must save my marriage and rediscover who I am. Jude stepped closer, his warm fingers brushing away my tear. His breath brushed against me, but I held back, refusing to surrender to the intimacy. I stood strong, my heart shattering inside. "I get it," Jude whispered. "I will always honor your choice, even if it means saying goodbye." Jude slipped away at dawn, leaving before Leo stirred. A brief note lay on the kitchen table. Short and sweet, just a few heartfelt words. "Ellis, always stay true to who you are, no matter the circumstances. Your happiness is my top priority." I read every word, feeling a mix of emptiness and relief. I knew this choice was right, yet my heart ached for his absence. Leo entered the room and found me clutching the note. He whispered, "Jude is really gone, isn't he?" I nodded, eyes downcast. To my surprise, Leo sat beside me and softly took my hand. "Ellis, I'm aware," he said, his voice calm yet firm. "I believe everything happens for a reason. I see your struggle." I gasped, staring at him in shock. His words stirred every buried emotion within me. "I'm still here, Ellis. I believe we can overcome this if you choose to." Tears streamed down my face, not from pain, but from a newfound relief and hope that blossomed in my heart after days of disorder. In the days that followed, Leo and I began anew with the simplest of moments. We opened up our hearts like never before. All the mistakes, the hidden desires, everything. Jude may be gone, but he lives on in our story. He unleashed a whirlwind of feelings, yet that very tempest revealed that real love transcends possession and momentary desire. Trust is everything. Fight for the one you love. One late afternoon, I sat on the porch as Leo brought out 2 cups of tea. He sat next to me, softly taking my hand. "Life twists and turns," he whispered, "but I'm grateful we're moving forward together." A smile spread across my face as a deep peace enveloped me. The storm in my heart has cleared. No matter what lies ahead, we will always cherish that love is not about perfection. Together, we conquer life's challenges. I looked up at the sky, hoping Jude was smiling somewhere. We crossed fragile boundaries, loved deeply, stumbled often, yet ultimately discovered a better version of ourselves.